How many clients you have at this moment in your portfolio?
596. That if you have 150 plus clients, you have a potentially amazing business. You do not need thousands. In India, for example, I met some advisors who have 1,500 clients. I'm like, how do you have so many clients? So we have an office in London.
What is your biggest premium from one single client?
So the biggest single premium investment I've ever done is £42 million. Broadly,
how many TOTs you have done in 1 year?
The most I've done in 1 year is 14 TOTs 1 year.
14 TOTs in a year?
I have two cars. I have a Range Rover Sport that I drive mostly around the UK because it's safe. It's easy to drive. I don't get too tired. But my fun car, my weekend car, is an Aston Martin DB9 because I love Aston Martins. They're a very traditional British car. Each year we're generating more than about £4.5 million. So I have a house up in the north of England now, which is where my office base is here, and I also have two properties in Italy because my family background is Italian, and I have a few other properties. I bought a house for my son, a house for my daughter, a house for my mother. So I have a few. I spent weeks before that meeting thinking, why am I going to this meeting? They will say no. They will never pay this premium. Why would they give their business to a young man like me? I have no experience. I don't have any qualifications. I work alone. I was basically making their excuses for them. That's what I was doing. When I meet a client for the first time, I say to them, Ranjit, my primary objective is to help you make the right financial decisions for you and your family, or you and your business.
How many insurance advisors are there in UK?
About 32,000.
What's the population of UK?
62 million. For example, I always call my clients on their birthday. We make a charitable donation to a charity in their name at Christmas. If they send us a referral, we send them a handwritten note and a gift. If they come to my office, we wash their car. If they come to my office, we give them a drinks menu. We have a guaranteed service charter for all of our clients. So when we meet someone, we say, Ranjit, here are our promises. This is what we will do.
What was your strategy? How you found it, or how you find leads or prospects to convert them in client? What do you do that?
Three things. Number one, whenever I meet a new prospect, instead of asking for referrals, the best way to prospect is in any situation. You do not need to go to a breakfast meeting, stand in front of everyone and say, hello everyone, my name is Sandro, I'm an insurance advisor. Because that feels very transactional to me. As long as you know what to say, how to say it, you can generate more opportunity in any social situation than at a networking event, in my opinion.
Alexander, what do you think? What are your habits which actually helped you to become successful insurance advisor?
I go to the gym every single day. It doesn't matter where I am in the world. I train every day.
But how spending time for gym can help in success? Can you explain that?
If I'm physically fit, then I am mentally fit. I feel happier. I feel better about myself. And if I feel really good, I am bound to communicate better, be more positive, attract more people than if I'm not positive.
You still do prospecting, or you are sufficient with 519 clients?
Prospecting is the thing that makes our business so enjoyable. Meeting new people, solving new problems. after a couple of years of treatment, my father unfortunately died. And then what happened next? My mother, within about 2 years, lost everything. She lost the business, she lost the house, we had no money, and we were moved into, I guess you would call it welfare, accommodation provided by the state. So I was working at the age of 13. I was working before school, after school, in my holidays, because I had to support my family.
What do you call yourself, Sandro? You call yourself insurance advisor, financial advisor, investment advisor? What do you call yourself?
I know that if I say I'm a financial advisor, you run away. He said to me, what do you do? And I said, I help footballers to overcome their biggest fear, which is the loss of income when they retire from football.
But what education actually you have taken?
I guess the best education I have is the education of life. I would phone a prospect of my boss, and I would say, hello Ranjit, this is Sandro Forte, I'm an insurance advisor. And of course they would say, I'm not interested, or please don't call me again, or I mean, all the usual things that we hear. I asked myself one question: is what I am doing now as effective as it could be? And actually the answer to every question was no. He was, you talk about selling products. He was selling products. He wasn't interested in the relationship. He wasn't interested in doing the right thing for the client. He was just interested in making money. He wasn't dedicated to his clients. He drove a great car, lived in a big house, had plenty of money, but no one really liked him. He wasn't doing the right thing for the clients. It all succeeds. So I just made a decision to take a big risk, because with big risks come big rewards.
Can you share a story where you find a customer who gave you a lot of confidence? After meeting that client, you got good business, you got confidence, and that confidence actually took you further.
The UK is no different from India or any other country. Now, these 3 siblings, 2 brothers, 1 sister, they were all in their 70s, 71, 73, 74, and they all need 100 million of cover. That was the thing that made me realize that the high net worth market is not unavailable for advisors. If they really want to get into that market, it's just about mindset.
I know about UK is that insurance cover is given by retirement corpus is given by, pension is given by government, health insurance is given by government. So is it very difficult to sell insurance in UK because everything is provided, or where you feel that there is an opportunity to sell insurance in UK?
First of all, the benefits that are provided by the government in the UK are not great, but the waiting lists are very long, treatment is not fantastic, so many people prefer private healthcare. We have many different forms of tax. In particular, we pay 40% inheritance tax, estate tax. So we have paid throughout our lives 20, 40 or 45% income tax, 18 or 24% capital gains tax, and then after all of that, the government want to take 40% of everything we have created. So actually, insurance opportunities in the UK still remain very high.
How many insurance companies are there in UK?
200?
200 insurance companies are there. Sandro, you also have written a book, Dare to be Different.
Yeah.
So from financial advisory, how this idea came in your mind to write a book?
And I'm just about to finish. This is exclusive news for you. You're the first person to know. I very nearly finished my second book. And the second book is a book only for advisors on the whole process from start to finish. My entire life journey in this business. One of those gold cards for the last 15 years has been that one of my goals is to appear on the front cover of Men's Health magazine.
Hello friends, in this video we are going to talk with an insurance advisor from the United Kingdom. His name is Mr. Alessandro M. Forte. Sandro has done 28 times TOT. He has written a book which is published in 7 different languages. Sandro is also a renowned trainer and he has trained more than 2.5 lakh insurance advisors across the globe. Sandro was the president of MDRT Foundation in the year 2025. Actually, a few days back, I attended MDRT Day in Mumbai, where I listened to many amazing speakers. But one speaker who actually caught my attention was Mr. Alessandro M. Forte. He was speaking directly from his heart. His emotion, his passion for insurance profession deeply inspired me. And at that moment, I decided I must meet him personally and ask him for his interview on BITV. And today I am very excited that Mr. Alessandro M. Forte is with us for giving his life journey video on BITV. So friends, get ready for an inspiring conversation filled with lot of motivation and learning. So I warmly welcome Mr. Alessandro on BITV channel. Alessandro.
Thank you, Ranjit. It's very, very nice to join you today. And one quick lesson, I guess, for all of us is that sometimes when you ask for something, very often the answer is yes. Many times we are afraid to ask for the sale or for the relationship or for a guest on a podcast because we think that maybe they will say no. But very often we find that when someone asks, as you did, sometimes the answer is yes. So this is happening today because of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro. I am not much aware about the geography of United Kingdom. Which part of the United Kingdom you born, Alessandro? Born and brought up, and what was your financial condition at that time? That's what I want to know. Yeah.
Okay, so I was born in a very small town near the sea called Weston-super-Mare, and that is near Bristol. So it's in the southwest of the UK, about 140 miles west of London. The UK, of course, is very small, certainly by comparison to India, very small. So actually, you can get more or less anywhere in about 4 hours, more or less. So I was born in this place called Weston, and the reason I was born is because my grandparents were Italian. My father's parents were Italian.
Oh.
And after the war, after the Second World War, they were interned. They were held in Scotland, as many Italians were at the time. And when the war ended, my family went to different parts of the UK, and my father and my grandfather went to the place that I was eventually born. So my upbringing, Ranjit, was pretty simple. My father was a very successful businessman. He ran 3 restaurant businesses. So, we lived in a big house. We had plenty of money. We went on a couple of holidays every year. It was a very privileged childhood. I mean, I didn't want for anything. Every day was a great day. But unfortunately, what I didn't know was that my father had been diagnosed with lung cancer when I was 8 years old.
Oh.
And at the age of 8, I was the eldest child of 4. So my mother was 29 years old at the time, and I was the eldest. I had 2 sisters and a younger brother. And after a couple of years of treatment, my father unfortunately died. And then what happened next was that my mother, within about 2 years, lost everything. She lost the business, she lost the house, we had no money, and we were moved into, I guess you would call it welfare, accommodation provided by the state. So we really went from having everything to having nothing in a very short space of
That time
time.
you are 8-year-old.
I was just coming up to my ninth birthday. And so all of a sudden, I remember the words of my mother when she told me my father had died. She said, "You are the man of the house now." And I still remember that, Ranjit, because in that moment, what I was given by my mother was a blessing, responsibility, but also a burden, a very heavy weight around my neck because at the age of 8, now I feel I have to provide for the family. So I was working at the age of 13. I was working before school, after school, in my holidays because I had to support my family. So it was a very interesting period of my life, but I learnt many things in those 4 or 5 years before I went to university.
Superb, superb, Alessandro. So, well, start of life, then lot of learnings. You had a lot of struggles in your life.
Mhm.
Super.
Yeah.
What do you call yourself, Sandro? You call yourself insurance advisor, financial advisor, investment advisor. What do you call yourself?
You've asked a very interesting question there, Ranjit, because I think every well, first of all, let's be honest. We in our profession, we are financial planners, we're financial advisors, but we don't like to use that expression. We don't like to use that title because if I meet you in the street and you say to me, "Hello, nice to meet you. What do you do for a living?" I know that if I say I'm a financial advisor, you run away, okay? Because we know there is an association, a subconscious association with financial advisor. So, although my business card will tell you that I am a financial planner, and I think financial planner is different to financial advisor, but we'll talk about that a little bit. Um, when someone asks me what I do, instead of telling them the job title, what I do is I try to create position and answer that resonates with them, that makes them think, "Oh, this is really interesting. I need to understand more." So, for example, I do, as you probably know, I work a lot with soccer players, Premiership footballers in the UK. And the reason for that is not because I have more qualifications or I'm more experienced or my product is cheaper. I have built that reputation because the very first footballer I met, he said to me, "What do you do?" And I said, "I help footballers to overcome their biggest fear, which is the loss of income when they retire from football." And he said, "That's every footballer's biggest fear because we live in this very highly paid profession for 12 years, 15 years, if we're lucky. But of course, many footballers, when they finish playing football, they continue to spend money like they're still playing football. And within 5 years, 65% of soccer players are bankrupt. They have no money. So my answer to your question is, although we all have a job title, what we should focus on is what we do for people, not what is written on our business card.
Super. I think this is called the first impression is the last impression. The way you are keeping your profession
Yeah.
when you are meeting first time with someone, that is actually a financial advisor, insurance advisor must learn from you, Alessandro.
Yeah.
But what education actually you have taken? What education you have completed?
Well, losing my father when I was very young, I guess the best education I have is the education of life. and all of those difficult times, I learned many things. But I did go to university. I was pretty good at school. I worked hard because I knew I had to work hard to support my family. Um, I would not say I was the best academic student, but I was pretty good in the top maybe 15%. I could have done better, but it was okay. I can honestly tell you, at no point during my teenage years did I decide I wanted to be an insurance advisor. I did not decide that at any point. Actually, I went to university and I studied three things at university. One was English, one was drama, theatre, and the other one was psychology. And actually, I would say my understanding of psychology has been very helpful in this profession. Again, maybe we'll talk about that. But when I left university, I still didn't know what I wanted to do as a job. And then my auntie, my late father's sister, was renting a property to an advisor, to a financial advisor, who was just starting his own business. And he said to my auntie, "Do you know anyone that could work in the business with me as an administrator?"
It,
And
it
my
was it
auntie,
was in which year you're talking about?
1989.
1989. Okay.
Yeah,
That
I'm
time, actually, you completed your university.
Yes, correct. So 1989, that feels like a long time ago, but then I am very old. So I joined his business. I did not have any hopes that I would be successful, but I joined initially to help him with the administration of his clients. And then after about 6 months, he said to me, "I think you would make quite a good insurance advisor." So I said, "Okay, maybe I'll try." And to be honest, Ranjit, I was terrible, really, really unsuccessful for about 1.5 years. Really
One and a half
bad.
year. 1.5 year.
Yeah, really bad,
One and a
really bad.
half year, you started meeting customer, or
Huh? Well,
you were just supporting him.
yeah, well, a combination. So I had to make cold call. I had to make cold calls. I didn't know anyone really. He gave me a few clients for me to see, but I there were two things. Number one, as a young man, I was 21 years old, and I thought, oh, well, I can always make my calls tomorrow. Today I can see my friends, or I can play golf, or I can go to the gym. I can do these things tomorrow. So procrastination was a big problem. And the second thing was I did not take or spend any time really understanding whether what I was doing was right or not. So, for example, I would phone a cold call, or I would phone a prospect of my boss, and I would say, "Hello, Ranjit. This is Sandro Forte. I'm an insurance advisor." And of course, they would say, "I'm not interested," or "Please don't call me again," or, I mean, all the usual things that we hear. And it was only after about 18 months of repeated failure that I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. There has to be an easier way. And so I took a lot of time to really understand the process. And one of the questions I asked for everything I did, from calling, referrals, objection handling, service, dealing with high net worth clients, every part of the process, I asked myself one question: is what I am doing now as effective as it could be? And actually, the answer to every question was no. And then I thought, right, I have to find a way to um, to make this process better, because if I carry on doing what I'm doing, I will fail in this business. And so the reason I wrote a book actually was that the journey, that initial journey, which was a lot of failure, understanding that what I was doing was not as effective as it could be. And I created a system. And that system I still operate today. Every year I try to improve it in a small way. And that's why I built a masterclass program that has now helped over 1 million advisors around the world.
The reason what I want to understand here is you started working with a financial advisor in 1989.
Yeah.
So this financial advisor was a insurance advisor,
Yes.
or he was handling the all products like a complete financial advisor, mutual fund, life, general, everything. How it
Yeah.
was? How it
Yeah,
was?
that's exactly right. He was an independent, but the piece of good fortune for me, Ranjit, was that this guy, I won't mention his name, but this guy was a very stereotypical product seller. He was, you talk about selling products. He was selling products. He wasn't interested in the relationship. He wasn't interested in doing the right thing for the client. He was just interested in making money. And I call that transactional. He was very transactional. Now, that was fortunate for me because most of his clients then came to me and said, you take more care of us. You are clearly more interested in our long-term financial planning than he is. So we'd like to work with you. And actually, when that started to happen, that allowed me to eventually leave this guy and start my own business in 1993.
But when you entered in the financial advisory business with this person to whom you met, that time till that time you were not aware about insurance products, insurance companies. You were not aware. And when you started working with this man, which insurance company first got introduced with you and you started talking about that company's product?
Well, the company, it doesn't exist anymore, but it was a company called Crown Life. And then we changed our affiliation to another company that in India, you will know. It was an insurance company called Cornhill. And actually, they used to sponsor the cricket. So they sponsored England. And if you're Indian, Sri Lankan, Australian, South African, and you follow cricket, you will probably remember Cornhill if you're as old as me. So Crown Life was we worked with for 2 years, and then Cornhill for 2 years, and then I left.
Okay, okay. So how many years you worked with that person? You were with that guy?
4.
4 years till
Yeah.
1993.
Yeah.
And then what happened after
And
that?
then, well, for about 18 months, nearly 2 years, with him, I was not successful. For about 2 years, I started to build some good relationships. I started to discover that there was a better way of approaching the process. And so by the end of 1993, I was really unhappy working with this guy because he wasn't dedicated to his clients. He drove a great car, lived in a big house, had plenty of money, but no one really liked him. He wasn't doing the right thing for the clients. And so I decided that if I was going to run my own business, I should do it as soon as possible, because if I failed, then I was young enough to recover from the failure rather than wait until I had a family. So more or less, I started my business, got married, had twin children, and purchased my first house that I could not afford at the time.
In which
And I
year? In which year you first did your first purchase your first house?
1993.
1993.
Mhm.
Superb. You just
And
started your business.
yeah, but I thought, well, if I'm going to go for it, if I'm going to do these things, I may as well do everything all together. And if it fails, it all fails. But if I succeed, it all succeeds. So I just made a decision to take a big risk, because with big risks come big rewards.
Absolutely. So you were working as an employee with this man? You were getting
Yeah.
salary from him?
Yes, because my first 2 years were so terrible, I wanted to quit the business, and he said, "Don't quit. I will give you a small monthly income just to help you." And that was the only reason I stayed with him for 2 more years. But of course, in those 2 years, I learned so much more about the business. I learned what worked, what didn't work. I kind of learned more about the secrets of success in the business because there are some really simple. First of all, let me say, success in this business is not easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Um, but I discovered it's really, really simple. If you follow a simple process and you repeat that process over and over and over again, anyone can be successful.
Alexander, what happens is when you start any business, that time, as you said, you were struggling almost around 18 months, you were struggling. But then in future, by working in the same business, you get a client who gives you good business to whom you were chasing, and you got that client, you got a good business, and then you get a lot of confidence. Can you share a story where you find a customer who gave you a lot of confidence? After meeting that client, you got good business, you got confidence, and that confidence actually took you further.
Mm.
You remember that person?
I do, of course I do. So I'll tell you two very quick stories. The first story I'm going to tell you is when it went wrong, and then I'll tell you the story of when it went right. So a great story, and I want to share this story with you because I don't want anyone who is listening to this to think, oh well, Sandro he lives and works in the UK. It's a different market. He's lucky. He has different things. He has different products. The UK is no different from India or any other country. We all make plenty of mistakes. So one big mistake that I made, which taught me a great lesson actually, was I phoned this guy. He was a very successful business owner, and I was very excited at the idea that I could maybe sell him some insurance because my boss had said they might want some insurance cover. So I called this guy and said, "My name is Sandro Forte from Cornhill Insurance," and he said, "Are you calling to sell me insurance?" And of course, the little voice in my head says, "Do not mention insurance because if you mention insurance, the prospect will say no, I'm not interested." So I said, "No, I'm not calling to sell you insurance." And he paused for a moment and he said, "That's such a shame because we need some insurance." And so I learned very quickly that you should never answer a question with an answer. You should always ask a question with a question. So for example, he says, "Are you calling to sell insurance?" What I should have said is insurance something that would be of interest to you? If he says yes, great. If he says no, I say no problem. We can talk about many other things. So that was a good example of when it went wrong. The first big break that gave me the confidence, I guess, and actually the confidence to realize that the high net worth market is not reserved only for experienced advisors. I was introduced to a very wealthy family by an accountant in Bristol, near where I lived. I built a good relationship with him. We'd been for lunch a couple of times. He was a really nice guy. He's still working. His name is Richard, and I got a call from Richard one day, and he said, "I have this very wealthy family. They own a lot of property, £100 million of property, and they need some advice on estate planning. And estate tax in the UK is very high." Now, without going into too much detail, the problem with owning property in the UK is it's almost impossible to protect it from estate tax. So the only way that you can cover the tax is to establish an insurance policy. Now, these three siblings, two brothers, one sister, they were all in their 70s. 71, 73, 74, and they all need 100 million of cover. Okay. So
It was in the year
this was 1996.
1996. Okay.
Yeah. And it was this that kind of prompted me to write a book. Anyway, so they all need a very substantial amount of cover. The premiums are enormous, and I knew that the premiums would be a problem. So what I decided to do was to suggest that if they took some of the cash that they had and they put the cash into an investment and we took income from the investment, the income would pay the insurance policy. So they weren't really paying the insurance policy, the investment was. And I did not think that I had any chance of convincing them that this was the right thing to do, which it was. But in my mind, I was thinking three enormous insurance products, three enormous investments. There is no way they are going to buy from a 29-year-old. I was 29 at the time. There's no way they're going to buy from a 29-year-old. And I went to see them. I learned in that meeting relationships are very important. I explained my solution. They said, "You've been highly recommended by Richard. Where do we sign?" And in 1996, 1997, I sold what still remains three of the biggest cases I've ever sold in my entire career. And it was then that, to answer your question, it was then that I realized that age, experience, product, price, the company you work for, none of that makes a difference. It really does not make a difference. It's about way more than all of those things. So that was the thing that made me realize that the high net worth market is not unavailable for advisors. If they really want to get into that market, it's just about mindset.
Fantastic. Super. So in 1996, you got your first big breakthrough. Super. Super.
Very big. Yeah, yeah.
How difficult? Because I don't know about your UK market. Because what I know about UK is that insurance cover is given by retirement corpus is given by pension is given by government, health insurance is given by government. So is it very difficult to sell insurance in UK because everything is provided, or where you feel that there is an opportunity to sell insurance in UK?
Well, okay. First of all, the benefits that are provided by the government in the UK are not great.
Not great.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, it's true. We have a national health service. It's well known around the world. Many people come to the UK because we have a national health service, but the waiting lists are very long. Treatment is not fantastic. So many people prefer private healthcare. We have many different forms of tax. In particular, we pay 40% inheritance tax, estate tax. So we have paid throughout our lives 20, 40, or 45% income tax, 18 or 24% capital gains tax. And then after all of that, the government want to take 40% of everything we have created. So actually, insurance opportunities in the UK still remain very high
Very.
because if you are the breadwinner, Ranjit, you bring home $100,000 a year, for example, and you die, your family have nothing. So insurance to cover income of the breadwinner, insurance to cover sickness like cancer, stroke, insurance to cover estate tax. There are many opportunities to talk about insurance.
Superb, superb. Like in India, I'll take a company's name like LIC is a big company in India.
Mhm.
Lakhs, around 14 lakh plus insurance advisor
Yeah.
works for this company. For which company you work there? Which are the big company there in UK? Can you please talk about that?
So I work in what's called a restricted advice model now. So very briefly, in the UK we have three models. Model 1 is tied agent. Very small number now. Usually those people who just work in the bank are tied. At the other end, we have independent advisors. And in the middle, now we have what are called restricted advisors. So typically, what that means is they work with one parent company, one network. So, for example, let's take Prudential. So, Prudential are the company that are responsible for the advice. So there is protection for the client, but we don't just sell the products of one company. We sell the products of many companies. So, for
How many
example,
insurance companies are there in UK?
200,
200 insurance companies are there. So
but
you have license of all insurance companies?
we are licensed with about 50 because 200, it is impossible to know the products of 200 companies. So this is the problem with independents because they say, oh, Ranjit, I have access to the whole of the market. But in reality, they don't because you cannot know the products and services of 200 companies. It's impossible. So this is why the regulator in the UK prefers this restricted advice because the consumer gets more protection, but they still have plenty of choice.
So you act as a strategic advisor? You have
Yes.
tie up with 50 insurance companies?
Insurance companies, maybe 70 mutual funds, 20 private medical insurance companies, like a very, very large range of different products and
So
services.
you advise your customer mutual fund, insurance, health insurance, everything?
Yeah,
You act as a proper financial advisor.
yeah.
How many clients you have at this moment in your portfolio?
596.
Exactly,
And
596.
as at today, 596. However, what I would say is that is 300 too many. I'm in the process of selling 300 clients to another firm because we have some very, very wealthy clients. And I don't want to keep working harder. I want to work smarter. So I want to focus more of my time on the higher value clients and allow the lower value clients to be serviced by another advisor who can build the relationship.
Super,
I
super.
think that if you have 150 plus clients, you have a potentially amazing business. You do not need thousands. In India, for example, I met some advisors who have 1,500 clients. I'm like, how do you have so many clients? And how do you possibly maintain a relationship with 1,500 clients? I think you need 150, 200. You have a fantastic business.
Fantastic. If you have good, healthy clients. How many, do you have any staff? How many staffs you have with you? How
Nine.
many
I have.
offices?
So we have an office in London, which actually I use very rarely. I don't use it much. I prefer to meet my clients in a private members club, um, more relaxed, more informal, easier for a conversation. But actually, my team work remotely. All of my staff, all my team, they work from home,
From work from home. Yeah.
and they have worked from home for 12 years, maybe 12 years.
So how many staff you have with you?
Nine.
Nine staff with you.
Two advisors, and seven in the team.
Two advisor. Two advisor in the sense they also go and meet client. They create client for you.
Well, actually, the second advisor is my son, and he's just in his second year in the business. 2 years in the business, two times TOT, top of the
Super,
table.
super,
Yeah.
fantastic. So how much premium? What is your biggest premium from one single client?
So the biggest single premium investment I've ever done is 42 million pounds.
42 million pound,
So about 60 million US.
16 million US dollar,
60.
60 million US
Yeah.
dollar.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And the biggest insurance case, well, I told you the story earlier of the property family. The combined insurance cost of those three was the biggest, but the biggest single insurance case, annual premium 240,000 US.
Insurance cover.
Premium.
Premium.
240,000 premium. Yeah.
240,000 premium from a single client.
Yeah.
Super. Fantastic. I will have to convert this in rupees. That I will do later on
Okay.
to understand properly. Super. And what I also want to know, what is the maximum premium you have generated in a year?
So broadly,
How many
my
TOTs you have done in 1 year?
the most I've done in 1 year is 14 TOTs 1 year.
14 TOTs in a year.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. Mind blowing.
But what I would say is that you only have to do TOT once. I don't think one TOT, two TOT, three TOT, 14 TOT. You're TOT or you're not TOT. So that, I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to show off. Because these things are not important. What's important is that we realize that anything is possible. If you work hard, if you have a good process, you have good clients, you have a good mindset, you can be anything you want to be in this business. That's why this business is so amazing, because you can be anything you want to be.
So you are going to be the biggest motivator. I met so many people till now, but I never took interview of a person, insurance advisor, who have done 14 TOTs in a year. So you are going to be the biggest motivator for my audience. I want to know a little bit about your lifestyle also, Alexander.
Yeah.
Can I know which car you drive? Can I know that? And what is your, if you can say, what is your annual income as an insurance advisor? If you can disclose.
Yeah, of course. I have two cars. I have a Range Rover Sport that I drive mostly around the UK because it's safe. It's easy to drive. I don't get too tired. But my fun car, my weekend car is an Aston Martin DB9, because I love Aston Martins. They're a very traditional British car. If you've ever watched James Bond movies, you know what the Aston Martin is. And then in my business, we're always generating, each year we're generating more than about £4.5 million. So that's $6 million US.
$6 million in
A year.
$6 million in a year.
Average. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but average 6.
Super, super. And you stay in flat or in villa?
I have a house up in the north of England now, which is where my office space is here, and I also have 2 properties in Italy because my family background is Italian, and I have a few other properties. I bought a house for my son, a house for my daughter, a house for my mother. So I have a few houses here and there.
Superb, superb, Anderson. See, you said in 1996 you got first breakthrough client.
Yeah.
But what do you think? What was the turning point after that you felt that you actually have touched the success in the insurance industry? What was that point? I want to know. After this 1996 incident, you can say this was my success, turning point of my insurance advisory business. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me answer you this way. When we were all young, when you were young, Ranjit, when I was young, when everyone listening was young, 12 months old, 18 months old, we learned to walk for the first time. Okay, and the way we learned to walk was through lots of failure. Okay, we would be shown how to do something, and we would repeat failure over and over and over again. We'd walk, we'd fall down. We'd walk, we'd fall down. We'd walk, we'd fall down. Now, the reason we continued, the reason we maintained this this motivation to continue, even though we were failing, is because at the time there was no little voice telling us, "Oh, Ranjit, don't do this because you will experience failure. Don't do this because someone will say no to you. Don't do this because someone will say, I can't think of anyone right now." There was no little voice. At that time, we did not have, I call it interference, and it's a very important word because when you and I and everyone listening, when we start the year, we have goals. We call them goals. Some people call them New Year's resolutions. And at the start of the year, you say to yourself, this year I'm going to be the number one advisor in my company. Or this year I'm going to be TOT. Or this year I'm going to have more time with my family. And then you get to the end of the year and you don't achieve the goals. And you don't achieve the goals for one reason. Because between the goal and the outcome, there is something called interference. It is all of the things that get in the way of your success. It is not a lack of talent. It is not the economy. It is not people saying no to you. It is you saying no to yourself. Now, when you were a baby, there was no little voice. So you just kept going. There was no interference. There was nothing in the middle. So you would just focus and repeat. And what I learned from that big sale that I made in 1996, I learned the only thing that was holding me back, the only thing that was stopping me making these sales every month, every year, was me. It was in here. I remember when my mother remarried, and I had an opportunity to sell insurance, to talk to insurance to my stepfather, Dave. And in my mind, the little voice is saying, do not speak to him about insurance because he doesn't have any money. Today is not the right day. What if he says no? So we limit our opportunity because we speak to ourselves all the time and we create the outcome before the outcome arrives. And the moment you can avoid speaking to the little voice, listening to the little voice, that is the moment that you can move from being very ordinary to being very extraordinary.
And when did you learn this? When this thought came in your mind?
When I made that big sale, because I thought
in 1996.
Yeah, because
that was actually the main turning point. After that, you realized now you are a successful insurance advisor.
Well, I didn't think I was successful then, but what I did do was I thought I spent weeks before that meeting thinking, why am I going to this meeting? They will say no. They will never pay this premium. Why would they give their business to a young man like me? I have no experience. I don't have any qualifications. I work alone. I was basically making their excuses for them. That's what I was doing. Because as human beings, Ranjit, we like to stay comfortable. And the problem with feeling comfortable is if you're comfortable, you don't leave your seat in life. And successful people do not sit in their seat with their hand in the air waiting for the opportunity. They get out of their seat and they find the opportunity. And so that big sale made me realize that actually my age, my experience, my company, my product, my price, none of those things were the problem. The problem was stopping myself saying no before the client said no. And the moment I got that confidence, now, I mean, I can sit in front of a client and I can easily avoid rejection. I can avoid objections. I've now mastered the process, which is what I share with other advisors, of course.
You shared that in 1989, the person with whom you started working, he was not good in practice.
Yeah.
But you have made yourself successful with your, the way of you are practicing your financial advisory business. I want to know, Alessandro, how you practice your financial advisory business compared to other financial advisor which has made you successful. What is your financial advisory practice style of working? Can you please discuss about it?
Sure. That there's a very simple answer to this one, Ranjit. I genuinely believe that my job, my sole focus is on one thing, and I respectfully recommend that if people listening, if they're really serious about becoming really successful in this business, they focus on one thing. When I meet a client for the first time, I say to them, Ranjit, my primary objective is to help you make the right financial decisions for you and your family or you and your business. Now, it might be that as a result of this meeting, as a result of any advice I give you, we decide not to work together for any reason. You don't like me, I don't like you, whatever. But that does not mean that I will not give you the best advice. So my objective is to educate you, to help you understand your options, and to help you make the right decision. If that means working with me, great. If it doesn't mean working with me, okay, no problem. Now, the reason I say this is I have learned that if you focus on the process, so that is the process of guiding a prospect through the decision-making process, getting lots of information, giving the best advice, the outcome, we call that a sale, the outcome will always take care of itself. The problem in our business, Ranjit, is that too many advisors focus on the sale. They focus on the client signing on the application form. Now, the problem with that is if you don't make the sale, you feel like you're a failure. If you make the sale, you feel like you're successful. Now, the problem for most advisors is emotionally, this is how we have some good days, we have some bad days, some good days, some bad days. If you focus on giving the best possible advice, even if it does not mean working with you as an advisor, you can never lose. You can never be rejected. There is no success. There is no failure. It's just success because you can always say, I helped Ranjit make the right decision. It's a no lose. If you focus on the sale, maybe it's a win, maybe it's a lose. That's the problem in our business.
As I said, Alessandro, we have more than 20 lakhs insurance advisors. A lot of competition in India.
Yeah.
But companies are less. There
Yeah.
are around 20, 30 companies insurance. But you have 200 insurance companies. How many insurance advisors are there in UK?
About 32,000.
Very less. The
So
competition is not much. What's the population of UK? What's the population?
62 million.
62 million. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Population is
Yeah.
also not much compared to India.
But okay, but let me say this. Even though there are 32,000 advisors, and there's 64 million people, so that means about 2,000 clients each, right? 20,000 clients each to serve the whole population. I only need 200. So competition, the population is not important. If you find 200 good clients, that's all you need.
Super, super. That is actually the right strategy of working as a financial advisor. What is your strategy? See, you are a successful advisor. To be successful, you should have a skill to long-term relationship. How to keep long-term relationship with your client. What is your philosophy? What is your strategy to keep long-term relationship with your client? What do you do apart from the giving good advisory?
So actually, one of the reasons why I left my boss after 4 years, and the reason I started my own business is because I realized that if I'm one of 7 or 8 advisors, let's imagine you are asking me for advice, okay? And then you shop around and you say, again, this is another great lesson to share with advisors because If I stand in a line with 6 other advisors and you ask us for advice, you should get the same advice, more or less, from everyone. It should be more or less the same. Okay. So we know that it is not the advice that makes the difference. I use the expression to clients. I say, look, many transactional advisors in the UK, they want to sell you a product. They sell you a product, they don't see you again because they think that the commercial value is finding another prospect. What I say is, if I look after you for 20 years, 30 years, it's worth more money to me and it's worth more money to you because you are more likely to achieve your financial goals. And if you are a client of mine for 30 years, I will make more money than if I try to find one new client every year for the next 30 years.
Fantastic.
That's the reality.
Fantastic. Is there anything else what you do to maintain a good relationship with that person? You
Yeah.
send gifts to the client or you
Oh,
organize some events. Anything else you do apart from saying this?
Ranjit, we need to organize another podcast just to talk about what I do for clients because I wrote a book on differentiation because I believe that if you're the same as everyone else, then you have big competition. Everybody is a competitor. But if you differentiate yourself, so for example, I always call my clients on their birthday. We make a charitable donation to a charity in their name at Christmas. If they send us a referral, we send them a handwritten note and a gift. If they come to my office, we wash their car. If they come to my office, we give them a drinks menu. We have a guaranteed service charter for all of our clients. So when we meet someone, we say, Ranjit, here are our promises. This is what we will do. We will see you every year. We will do this. We will do everything is a promise. And if we don't meet our promise, then we will make a small donation to charity. Now, going back to what I said before, it is not the advice that separates me from everyone else. It is the what happens next. Okay, I'm Sandro's client now. I'm Ranjit's client now. What next? Will this person look after me in the future, or are they just trying to sell me something? And so if you can create the commitment that you want to look after them, and I say to clients, I say, look, Ranjit, the longer you are a client, the more money I make, and the more money you make. So that is a perfect relationship. If it's just a transaction, I make some money, but it's only in the short term. You don't really achieve your objectives. No one is happy. No one wins.
Fantastic, fantastic. Alessandro, what were your strategies to find out these many clients? You have 500 clients now. What was your strategy? How you found it, or how you find leads or prospects to make to convert them in client? What do you do that?
Three things. Number one, whenever I meet a new prospect, instead of asking for referrals, if I talk during the fact find about, okay, Ranjit, if you are the breadwinner, you're the income earner in your family. If you don't come home from work, what happens to your family? And not just that, who is affected by your death? For example, the people who will take care of your estate, your children, your brothers, your sister, your mother, your father, all the people that would be affected by your death, particularly those who would have responsibilities to look after the children, for example. And so when I'm fact finding, I say, Ranjit, if we are going to work together, then I will need to meet your family. I will need to meet these people. Now, this, by the way, I'm not saying, can you refer me? I'm saying I need to meet these people because in meeting them, they will understand their roles and their responsibilities. They will know where the insurance policy is. They will know who the advisor is. They will know that they will have the claim processed. Otherwise, if you just buy an insurance policy and you put it in the drawer and no one knows it's there, that's not a solution, that's a product. And so I need to meet other members of your family. Now, when you think the benefit is yours, in other words, by me meeting your family, you are the beneficiary, you benefit because I'm providing financial planning, not products, then you say, okay, meet my family. Number two is advocate clients. If you have 150, 200 clients, then there is a good possibility that 20, 30 of them really, really love you and you really, really love them. And every year you should be asking them for referrals because they will give you referrals because they love you. And then the final group is the other professionals, lawyers, accountants, mortgage brokers, general insurance agents, because every professional person is interested in one thing, more prospects. And if you and I have got clients, they are the prospects for someone else. And they have got clients who are my prospects. So building relationships with other professionals leads to reciprocal business opportunity.
Superb, superb. So you have, are you connected with organization where you, like in BNI, like in India we have BNI or Rotary, kind of this. You are not associated with any organization to get clients.
No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with BNI or whatever. But I believe the best way to prospect is in any situation. You do not need to go to a breakfast meeting, stand in front of everyone and say, hello, everyone. My name is Sandro. I'm an insurance advisor. Because that feels very transactional to me. Whereas Ranjit, you meet people all the time. I meet people all the time. As long as you know what to say, how to say it, you can generate more opportunity in any social situation than at a networking event, in my opinion. But the trouble is, we use networking events as we think that's the only way we can prospect. It isn't. Prospecting is about communication. It's about speaking to people with passion and with authenticity about what you do, because 62 million people in the UK, not everyone needs insurance, but millions do. So eventually you talk to somebody and they say, actually, I need some insurance. I mean, it's not it's really not a difficult process. It's just about communication.
Alexander, what do you think? What are your habits which actually helped you to become successful insurance advisor?
Very disciplined with my time. So in my book, I write about compartmentalizing my diary. So I have specific time that I allocate for clients, specific time for strategy, that is planning, quotes, preparation, meeting with my team, and then very importantly, time for me, for the family, for vacation, gym. I go to the gym every day. I have very, very strong disciplines around habits that I have. So I go to the gym every single day. It doesn't matter where I am in the world. I train every day. Now, you can't if you're busy and you're successful, unless you have very, very strong disciplines, you can't do things every day. So you have to have a lot of control over your time. And the expression I use is, many people think they are running their business, but actually their business is running them.
See, you said your habit of being punctual, discipline, your habit of giving time to your family led you to success. That I understood. But how spending time for gym can help in success? Can you explain that?
Yeah, two things I would say, Ranjit. One is, anything that you do repeatedly, that is a habit. I think it helps to demonstrate that you can apply the same process to anything. It is just about repetition and discipline. But I think, you very kindly, when we met, you very kindly told me that I looked younger than I am. Okay. If I'm physically fit, then I am mentally fit. I feel happier. I feel better about myself. And if I feel really good, I am bound to communicate better, be more positive, attract more people than if I'm not positive. So it may not be the gym. Some people don't like the gym, but maybe it's just meditation. Maybe it's golf. Maybe it's breakfast with your family. It doesn't matter what the discipline is, but I think every one of us should get into the habit of having something that we do every single day, whether it's reviewing our goals, walking the dogs, whatever we do. If we do it every single day, it teaches us very quickly that repetition leads to success in any area of your life or business.
Very nicely you said why health giving time to gym is important.
Yeah.
Superb, superb. So I would like to know your routine also, Sandro, because you are giving time to your family. You are giving, you are very disciplined. Also, you are doing. How much time you spend for gym
I do 1 hour every day,
every
and
day?
then two more times a week I spend an additional hour doing cardiovascular training.
What's your daily routine?
Daily routine: 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. I go to the gym. 8 a.m., 9 a.m. I'm preparing for the day. On a Monday at 9 a.m. I have a meeting with my team, and we agree all the goals and objectives for the week. At the end of Friday, we review our objectives. We decide what have we done, what have we not done, what do we need to do next week. And then in between Monday and Friday, I have 15 blocks of time for my client meetings. I have 6 blocks of time for strategy, and the rest of the time is family time. And I work 8 hours a day.
Fantastic. You still do prospecting, or you are sufficient with 519 clients?
No, because I'm always looking for a better client than the ones I already have. I mean, prospecting is the thing that makes our business so enjoyable. Meeting new people, solving new problems. Also, Ranjit, like reconnecting with all the reasons we joined the business. Reminding ourselves of the good things that we do for people. So prospecting should be a lifelong thing. So
Lifelong.
prospecting is still a very big part of my working day.
Superb, superb. So, Sandra, you started working as an insurance advisor. You became successful in insurance advisor, and then you entered into MDRT committee also. You took the leadership role there. You became president also with them.
President of the foundation, which is the charitable arm of MDRT. Yes, I served as the president in 2025. I've given a very, very significant amount of money to lots of different charities over the years. I've always been very philanthropic, and I believe that all of us can be philanthropic. And what I mean by that is we do not have to give money to be philanthropic. Sometimes we can write a book. Sometimes we can help someone with words of encouragement. Sometimes we can serve in our community. There are many ways that we can be philanthropic. It does not involve giving money necessarily.
So, how your journey started with leadership role with MDRT, and when it started?
Volunteered. I volunteered to serve in MDRT committees and PGA, which is just members who help to show people around the annual meeting. I started at the bottom, volunteered. I volunteered every year for 28 years.
When
And
did
then
you
eventually,
start? When did you become a member with them?
1997 was my first year of MDRT membership.
And from them, you are the member with them. You are a
Yeah,
member in their
I've, I've
committee.
I've been a member every year for 29. This is my 29th year. And I started getting committee roles after about 2 years. Then I became the chair of a committee. Then I became the divisional vice president. Then eventually I joined the foundation. I started doing work with the foundation, and I became the president in 2025.
Fantastic. Sandra, you also have written a book,
Mhm.
Dare to be Different.
Yeah.
So, from financial advisory, how this idea came in your mind to write a book? From where you got this motivation to write a book?
Well, actually, because like I've been saying during this conversation, everything I was doing as an advisor when I started my business, I didn't like the fact that so many advisors were just selling products. So I wrote about my experiences building a business that was almost the opposite of what the general public saw. So instead of selling products, I was selling advice, I was selling relationships, I was selling guaranteed service. It was almost the opposite of what people were doing at the time. So the reason it's called Dare to be Different is because sometimes to do something different, it takes a lot of courage because what most people say is, "Oh, Ranjit, if you do it differently, you're going to fail." Well, actually, most of the world's greatest brands and greatest success stories took a basic idea and turned it upside down because actually most of us do things the traditional way, the normal way, the accepted way. But if you do all those things, you're just an average businessman or woman. So
In which year this idea came in your mind? You want to
19,
write a book?
well, the idea came into my mind in 2000, and
2000.
it took me about 5 years to write the book, and it was published in 2007. And but it's sold about 520,000 copies, which is amazing. Um,
Super.
and all of the money that I've made from the book has gone to charities. I give all my book money away, and I'm just about to finish. This is exclusive news for you. You're the first person to know. I very nearly finished my second book, and the second book is a book only for advisors on the whole process from start to finish. My entire life journey in this business.
So, what is the message? One message you want to give from your first book, which can change our life. One message from your
I think,
book.
yeah, one of my favorite expression, and it's been my favorite expression for more than 20 years, is that people fail in life and business not because they aim too high and miss. People fail in life and business because they aim too low and hit. And that is the truth of life. Most people settle for average, they settle for the accepted normality because it's more comfortable doing the same thing as everyone else. And so, what I say is, if you live in a state of discomfort, you are very probably doing it right. You're probably heading in the right direction. Most people sit in their seat in life because it's comfortable.
Fantastic, fantastic. Can you give me an example where you have followed the same thing? You have kept a big target in your life and you
Yeah.
feel that this was actually a big target for me, but I followed this idea.
Okay. So in my book, I write about a mindset idea that involves daily goal cards. One of those goal cards for the last 15 years has been that one of my goals is to appear on the front cover of Men's Health magazine. So, of course, as you know, to be on the front cover of a magazine like this, you have to look amazing. Now, that is not really a realistic goal. There is almost no possibility that I will appear on the front cover of a men's health magazine. But if I condition my mind, if I think this, I truly believe it. This is the reason I go to the gym every day. I don't go to the gym every day because I love going to the gym. It's not because consciously I wake up and think today, I just want to go to the gym again. It's just become a habit. And so I am much more likely to get close to that goal, look good, look young, look fit, you know, have a six pack when I'm 60 years old, than if I don't do these things.
You have
So
six pack app?
yeah. But actually, there is a photograph of me on social media, so people can still find the photograph. But my point here is that if I don't set a really high goal, then I choose to eat chocolate instead of going to the gym, or I choose not to make the prospecting
Fantastic.
call, or I choose not to ask for the referral. So if you don't set the bar high, you don't achieve your potential. That's the reality.
Fantastic. Fantastic. You conduct 2 days training program also,
Mhm.
right? You conduct for that is for insurance advisor, financial advisor. What exactly you teach in that, Sandro?
I do a 2 day in person program. I also have a 15-hour online program, so 15 1 hour sessions. So over the course of those 15 hours or 2 days, uh, prospecting, fact finding, referrals, objection handling, building relationships with professional people, presentation meeting, closing, mindset, um, service, uh, high net worth market, selling big premiums, like everything you would expect from the beginning to the end.
Complete professional insurance advisor. One can become by this. Where do you
Yeah,
conduct? You conduct online or physical?
both. So I generally do 2 physical sessions a year, just because time is difficult to find, and then the online program is continuous, so anyone can access anytime, because it's like an
It is
online.
continuous, continuous.
Yeah, and there's 2 things that's important about this. Number one, you cannot move to the next session until you have completed the first one. So you can it's like class at school. You cannot go to number 2 until you've finished number 1. You cannot go to 3 until you finish number 2. And the second thing is, I guarantee that the advisor will increase their productivity by at least 30%. The average is 78% in a year. So by doing the program, you should double your production in a year.
Super. And when you conduct your physical program, where generally you conduct in UK only or any part
It
of
it,
the
it depends on demand. So, for example, if I received an invitation, for example, to run a program in India, as long as I can get more than about 200 people at an event, I will do a program in person. My next one is in Malaysia, actually, at the end of June. Um, I have 250 advisors joining that program. The next one will probably be somewhere towards the end of the year, October. But when I find enough people in one community, then I will travel to that place.
Superb, superb. So you may not have your goal like you want to do TOT next year because you are doing multiple TOTs in a year. What is your goal in next 4 5 years? What do you want to achieve in next 4 5 6 10 years? What goal you
My
have set? One, apart from this goal that you want to come in the magazine, what is
uh,
another goal you have set for
since,
yourself?
since the age of 21, throughout my whole career, I have always had one major goal. I call it my end goal. You know, the place I eventually get to, and I say I'm happy. Apart from the fact I know I will never achieve it, but what I would like is I would like to wake up every morning and have choice. And what I mean is I can choose see clients, go to the gym, play golf, see my family, travel to India, uh, take time off, go to my house in Italy, because most of us are are restricted in life by our environment. People they want my time, they want this, they want that. I think if I get to a place where I can say I am truly free to do what I want when I want, that would be a great measure of success for me. Because I don't need material things. I need freedom. I need flexibility. I need to be more fluid, you know? So that would be I know that's not what you would expect me to say, but it's truly what I would love to achieve in my life. True freedom.
I think you have achieved this goal. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I still have obligations to different things, but yeah, I'm getting there. I'm close. I think I'm close.
Superb, superb. There are many insurance advisor. I think surely there are many insurance advisor who thinks you are, for them you are their role model. Definitely, there are many insurance advisor who wants to do like you, who wants to become like you, the things you are doing. When you started your career, insurance advisory career, when you were very active, who was your role model in the insurance industry?
I think they're probably, well, first of all, what I would say to anyone who is trying to be like someone else, stop trying to be like someone else. Just focus on being you, because you is unique. The you that you are is totally unique in the world. So I don't want anyone to be like me. There is one of me, there is one of you. I think we should all try to be the best version of ourselves. But there's two people that I truly loved in this business. Loved. Number one is a guy called Mehdi Fakhrizadeh. Yeah, he was an Iranian. He went to live in America, had no money. He was still selling insurance at the age of 92. He was a lovely man. He passed away a number of years ago. God rest his soul. But he was very inspirational during my younger days as an advisor. And the second person is a past president of MDRT. His name is Scotty Brennan. He unfortunately is pretty ill, but he is the kindest, gentlest, most generous human being I've ever met. And I learned a lot in terms of when I was younger, I was a bit headstrong. I didn't listen too much. And he taught me how a good human being should be balanced and calm and more accepting of things. So he was a big influence on me as well.
He's from which country?
US.
He's from US. Fantastic. What do you think? Who is your biggest supporter in your success?
Well, I'm very blessed because my family are amazing. I have 3 sisters and a brother. I have an amazing mum who has lost 2 husbands. My father and my stepfather both died from cancer. She's married again. She's always been my biggest fan. My partner, my kids, my grandkids. I mean, I'm really Ranjit, blessed to have an amazing family. But I think everyone's biggest supporter should be themselves. I'll use this example. If there is an emergency on a plane and the masks drop down, the first person you help is yourself, because you cannot help someone else unless you help yourself first. And so my message to everyone would be to help everyone become the best version of themselves. First, you have to be the best version of yourself. And that's something that, not many of us spend a lot of time doing. So I would encourage people to really focus on themselves first, then they can give more to everyone else.
Super. Sandro, I have taken interviews of many insurance advisors, but all the interviews are in Hindi, not in English. It was I was thinking that it is going to be very difficult to talk, with a British guy. But to be very frank, I really enjoyed talking with you. There were so many things which I learned from you. This video is going to be a big inspiration for our audience. Thank you, Sandro. Thank you very much for taking out your time and discussing about your life journey with us. Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Thank you, Ranjit. Nice to see you.